people tire of you and they want something new. You have to play the game. You have to step back a little bit. You have to create some mystery. You can't be so consistent where people know exactly who you are and they start getting bored with you. You have to mix things up. If people are too in our faces, they become predictable and familiar, and secretly we grow bored with them, and secretly we feel kind of superior to them because they're predictable, and they're going to lose interest in you. People today are so, I feel like a problem that a lot of younger people have, and I don't mean to preach here, but they're afraid of pain. Mm-hmm. They're afraid of being hurt, and so they want to be invulnerable. And so at the slightest problem in a relationship, they're just going to give up and swipe and find somebody else. And people will kind of fall a little bit and then they'll go, oh, no, I don't want to get hurt, so on to somebody else. But this, what I'm writing in here is if you just keep falling and falling and falling and falling and falling, and you lose all that defensiveness that we all have, something, rather magical and transcendental can happen where you can anticipate others' thoughts, where you feel like the boundaries between two people are dissolving. And then that's when it becomes sublime and it reaches that kind of level. I'm wondering if unconsciously there might be the same thing going on, right? There's nothing wrong if you don't want to commit. I'm not judging that. That's perfectly fine. And believe me, when I was in my 20s, I was like that myself. But a lot of people, you're looking for something that's kind of deeper than just every 3 months. That can get kind of boring after a while, and it can become very unsatisfying. So deep down, if you don't want that, if you're avoiding that, then I'm saying unconsciously you are afraid of commitment. You're not scared that there's somebody better. It's just that you're worried that you're going to be hurt if you let yourself fall like that. If you give up if you become vulnerable, then you're opening yourself to a lot of pain. Mm-hmm. And so I'm just seeing a lot of, and I'm not judging, because people, Generation Z, you've gone through incredibly difficult times that I never had to deal with. And so being a little risk averse is very understandable. But I think it comes from a level of fear more than I have all of these options. Because at some point, maybe you don't want to have like endless swiping. Maybe you do want to have some kind of commitment. It wasn't that difficult. It's like I didn't have options. There are always hundreds and thousands of women out there. Okay, so maybe it's a lot easier now, and that kind of changes your psychology. But the desire is still there for something deeper, right? Underneath all of that, there's something deeper that you want. And if you're not feeling that, if you're avoiding that desire, then I think it comes from fear. It's fear of being vulnerable. Because if you're still a human being, right? Mm-hmm. And you're still afraid of something deeper happening to you. I don't know why we're disagreeing on that. Look, men and women are different, so we can go there. That the appeal of the variety is going to appeal more to men because men are traditionally more promiscuous. So there is that difference there. But a point is reached if you're a man and you've been swiping and you've had hundreds of women where you get tired of it and you want something else and you're 34, 35 years old. And even with all of those options of swiping, it's too much. It's like overloading your brain, right? And so it gives you this sense of instability. And so it's almost easier to be doing that than to actually give the commitment, because you're opening yourself up to some kind of hurt and to some pain. And people, I think, are trying to avoid that very much. They're trying to avoid being vulnerable and being open to pain. And this is an easy excuse for them. So people often talk about the internet is changing people's brains. And I don't believe that. I think it's just simply playing into the weaknesses in human nature that are already there. And so the fear of commitment that men have probably had for ages has always been there. And this just makes it easier to kind of justify, I've got all of these different options. That dynamic of creating some mystery and creating a spark and kind of intriguing the other person is still psychology. Mm-hmm. So seduction is psychology, right? It's not force. You're not bullying somebody into a relationship. You have to make them kind of interested in you, right? You have to get their defenses down. You have to get them to open up to you in some way. So the tools for that are different. It's like the difference between, technology from 200 years ago for things now. But the game is the same. It's the psychology of lowering people's defenses, making them open to you, making them less resistant. So with the swiping, there's no seduction involved, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's mostly just, I guess, I don't really know what it is. So that isn't really seduction. But when it comes to seduction, that's a timeless game. You know, I talk in The Art of Seduction about language and writing and how writing can be seductive, right? And there's a kind of way of communicating that's a little bit open-ended and insinuating ideas. You can do that in email, in texting, whatever. It's still the same game. The problem with like creators and influencers and the internet and all of that, it's hard to keep it going,
Yes.
right? People tire of you and they want something new. And so you have an image, let's say you're the siren type and it's a woman and she's kind of projecting all of this sexual energy. It's exciting. She'll get an audience. She's getting a little bit older, somebody younger, the different look comes about. Suddenly, like a magnet, everyone goes to this other person. So I've had a few people, celebrities, people in the music business who've asked me about this game. A lot of The Art of Seduction and the 48 Laws of Power is about absence, is about creating mystery. It's about disappearing. It's about stepping back so people know exactly who you are. And they will ask me, well, Robert, you know, I have like 20 million followers on Instagram. And I can't step back. If I step back, people will forget me. But at the same time, they're losing interest in me. What do I do? And I tell them, well, you have to play the game. You have to step back a little bit. You have to create some mystery. You can't be so consistent where people know exactly who you are and they start getting bored with you. You have to mix things up. And I give examples of a lot of people, pop stars, etc., who know how to constantly play with their image and change it sometimes and recreate themselves and reveal other parts of their personalities, right? I'd have to go more deeply into your online presence. If people are too in our faces, they become predictable and familiar, and secretly we grow bored with them, and secretly we feel kind of superior to them because they're predictable, right? And they're going to lose interest in you. But if you can mix it up, if you can keep it on your side, because you might think as an influencer with so many followers that you're in control of the game. You're constantly at their mercy, right? They're thinking of you in a certain way, and you have to kind of live up to what they think about you. You need to switch it around. You need to put the power back on your side. Social media is damaging us. It's making us so attuned to people, to what other people are doing, to what other people are thinking, that it's bringing out the worst qualities in us, right? It's narrowing our minds, our spirits, everything about us, right? It's narrowing us physically and our senses, because we are animals. We sense things, we smell things. We need to be seeing each other one-on-one. It's not the same on a screen. It's damaging us. It's very dangerous. And this is a book that's trying to get you out of that and is trying to show you it's not that just the world is wonderful, but it's just that you're locked into a certain way of thinking about the world, a certain way of relating it, and you're not aware of that. You're not aware that you're programmed to look at the world a certain way. So if we look at the world in the 17th century, and we look at how people dressed and how they talk, we kind of laugh. My God, that's so silly. All those frills on men's shirts and the way they talk, it was so formal. We're so much better. We don't realize in 300 years, people are going to be laughing the hell out of us at how silly we look, at how our dress, on how we think and how we act. We can't see how we live in conventions and how our minds are programmed culturally and socially. It's a book about getting out of that framework and suddenly seeing what really is going on. You know, it's the whole point of mastery. I try and drum it into your brain that you have a native genius to you in your uniqueness and what is different about you, right? You discovered that yourself, but at some point you discovered that what makes you different. You left your advertising thing. You have two sides to you too. You have the practical side. You probably had something you enjoyed in the advertising. Then there was something missing and it was more spiritual. And then it was dealing with people and coaching them. You're able to bring all sides of yourself together. There's only one of you, right? And you found it, okay? And once you find it, you don't have to be so afraid, right? You can be a little bit more direct now than you were maybe when you were in New York working for the advertising company. You have your own company. You earned that right. When you don't know who you are, when you don't know what makes you unique, when you don't understand what your essence is at your core, you're always looking around at other people. You're always worried about what other people are thinking about you. You're always afraid. You're fearful. You're making decisions based on what other people tell you should be doing, on the career moves you should be making, on the best practices you should be practicing in your business. You're all continually insecure about these things, right? You're never developing yourself. You have some deep levels of fear, and when you have that, you're only, as a social animal, what you're going to do is you're going to conform. You're going to be like other people because it's safe, it's easy, it's comfortable, and you can kind of hide yourself in the crowd. And even if at moments you try to break out and be different, that fear is still there and you go scampering back to your safe corner because you haven't built that solidness. You don't know who you are. You don't know what makes you unique. I don't think people are necessarily satisfied deep down being a truck driver. Maybe he was, but there was probably something missing in his life. And maybe being a truck driver could be a form of mastery if he definitely felt, really close to his truck and he repaired it himself. The guy who fixed the tiles on my patio, he was a master. He had a form of mastery. So it's elitist to think that only a select few can discover this. Everybody has unique DNA. When you discover what makes you unique, when you discover that seed inside of you, and you don't need to be so fearful, right? You can express yourself. You know that what makes you weird, what makes you different is your source of power. There are a lot of people who are successful in life. They make a lot of money who don't have that. They follow that route of being conformist, of doing the best practices, of being, a good business person. But I don't think deep down they're truly, truly satisfied because they're missing something about themselves. There was something in their childhood they never got to express. And there's a level of frustration there. I am allowed to be kind of nasty and bold because it all stems from the year 1998. I'd written the 48 Laws of Power. I was able to be bold because I believed in myself, because I trusted myself, because I knew I'm different. And being different was what made the book successful. Is my individuality was what made the book. And you can say the same for any celebrity, any rap star, any singer, any actor, and even business people. You mentioned Steve Jobs or Elon Musk. They're not people, there's no one else out there like them, or Kobe Bryant. So don't be so afraid. Find out who you are, find out what you were meant to accomplish even in your 40s or whatever, and don't be so afraid. And you have more to lose by trying to fit in with other people and being like other people. That's where you're really going to lose in the game of life. Wellness, where you bring the full person into play. I mean, a lot of these wellness people about all of that, the people who yell and cry against the game and power and hustle culture are the most passive-aggressive people around. You think that these people who are wellness influencers who've started their own company never manipulated anybody, never played power games, know nothing about power. It just happens behind the curtain, behind the scenes, just like I saw in Hollywood. So you're being authentic, you're being real, you're being direct, you're not playing the game like they are. So that's your niche, that's your carving out what you are. You're the wellness person who believes in hustle culture, who hustles her way to the top. And you can do the two. You can have the breath work and be spiritual while also, hustling. Because life is hard, People who were successful in the wellness industry didn't get there just falling out of bed and being all balanced and spiritual and loving. They probably screwed a lot of people in their past. There's some guy who, well, that's another story, but a lot of these wellness influencers have some skeletons in the closet. I've earned it now where I can do whatever I want. Yeah. My publisher, I could say I'm going to write a book about the relationship between clouds and rock.